Good morning, everybody. Hi, welcome to the forum. It's 8:30 already. I hope you had a great time yesterday. Can you hear me okay in the back? Just give me a thumbs up. Thank you, I haven't done this for a while. Okay, but isn't it great to be in person? It's so exciting. My name's Pamela Brockhausen, and I know some of you. I'm gonna serve as your moderator today, and we'll be monitoring the room, handling any questions that arise. Most of you know to please hold your questions until we can run a mic to you, but you're welcome to put your hand up, mostly at the end of the session, if you would. We'll have some time for that. The forum materials are going to be available on the TWC website after the forum is over. Please silence all electronic devices if you would, and be sure to take your calls to the hallway if you answer one. I'm supposed to tell you about parking. It was supposed to be $5. You can still go to the front and pay for it now and get the $5. However, if you get it on the way out with a credit card, it might be $10, but you will be reimbursed. And if you pay early, there won't be a big backup like there was yesterday I heard about. So everybody who can pay early would be great. Please, you need to check out by noon. There's no late checkout. You will be charged. So if time permits, there'll be a question and answer period. Again, raise your hand, we'll bring the mic. Because we're recording the session, we want to make sure that all questions are retained on the recording. If we don't have time to answer your questions, you can request the presenter's contact information at the end of the session. You're going to receive an electronic survey after the event. Please complete that, and your feedback is greatly appreciated. If you want CEUs, please see the table out in the hallway after the event. I believe this one is eligible for CEUs, if I'm not mistaken. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to your great presenters today for maximizing workforce services and enhancing post-secondary outcomes for students. I'm going to turn it over to Miss Aubrey McKenzie Jones, PhD. She will introduce herself and the others on the panel. And with that, we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy today's presentation.
Thank you so much. As she said, I'm Aubrey Jones. I'm with Deep East, and I'm the Navigator. I've been there since the inception of the Navigator role, and I also serve as a mentor as well. And to my right, I have the lovely Imelda Trevino. She is from the beautiful Coastal Bend area. I want her to let me come stay with her for a couple days to get onto the beach. And to my left, I have Miss Sonia White. She also represents our East Texas board as a Navigator and a mentor as well. Thank you. All right, guys, so I think everybody in this room is pretty familiar with the Navigators and what we do. So today, what we're going to focus on is going to be the three main components of what we do as Navigators and some examples of the things that we've done within our communities to reach these goals and deliverables and the successes that we've seen from that. So the first thing is capacity building. And on the screen, there are four main focal points. The first point is needs assessment. What that looks like is, what does our community need? And not just the community outside of the organization, but the community within the organization. I think sometimes we kind of miss that part too, that we don't have to capacity build within, we look at capacity building without, but capacity building goes both ways. It's within the organization and with outside of the organization. And number two, is down to design. So once we see what the needs are and what we're missing, what we're lacking, what that gap analysis is, we're gonna go in and design a program that can actually work to help meet that need that we're missing right now. And the third component is gonna be the implementation. So after we see what the needs are, we're gonna get the design ready, and now we're gonna get ready to implement it. We're gonna look at the strategy and see about what can we do, how can we make this service come about, what kind of programs do we need to incorporate, what kind of campaigns do we need to incorporate, and who do we need to work with to get this done. And after we do that, now we're gonna monitor, right? Because you can implement the program, but did it work? What were the results? Is it gonna make the program better? Did we see that it actually did what we intended for it to do? So that's where we come in and look around. We ask our constituents, our stakeholders, did this work for you? Did this program meet that need that we saw was missing? And with doing that, you'll see on the screen that there is a ribbon of like 4 different colors, but they're all banded together. And what that represents is working together. You can't get something done on your own. I mean, you could try. Might not be as productive as if you work with other people and you really build on those relationships and the strengths of the people within your organization and being open to doing that. And what that looks like is management, board staff, contractor staff, community partners coming in and working together. And from those big groups and where you're communicating, collaborating, you get subgroups. I know, for instance, for me, one of my groups is like a little outreach group. Sonia might speak a little bit more about that later, but bringing in those people that have the same interest and have the same expertise so that you can really maximize that service. Because I can guarantee you, my partners right here, they have strengths that I don't have. Right? Because they're in other areas, they can teach me things so I can pull from them. And that is what it's about with the unity of working together, because you really do get better results when you can actually reach out and work with other people. And what comes from that, now you're connecting with your community partners. Now you're connecting with your educational institutions. Because if you're outreaching your community partners and you're working within your organization, that is going to build your social capacity, your social capital. And what that does, now you're able to reach more people. Because if I'm not talking to Imelda, but she has a group of people that can help me and help my organization, I'm missing out. And not only that, my community partners are missing out, because maybe there's something out there that she has and has known about that I can take back to my community and help my community and help to build successful youth expos, successful resource fairs, successful transition fairs. Because I'll tell you guys, I'm in Deep East Texas. It's small. It's real small. We've got the Davy Crockett Forest, literally. Some of my students, some of our families, they literally live in the forest. So what does that look like? If I don't go get resources and bring it to them, they're not getting those resources. So I have to be out there. I have to make those connections. I have to get those resources to bring them back to my community so that I can maximize their results with their students, because otherwise, those students might not get that help. They might not get that support. And then they leave high school, and what happens? They don't just graduate to the couch. They graduate to the streets. They graduate doing things that they don't need to do. But if we can pull these things in now for them, we're helping them to have optimal well-being. We're increasing their independence. And not only that, it takes us into our underserved populations. My whole population is underserved, you guys. I just said I was in Deep East Texas. That says a lot. And you'll see more about what I mean with that on this slide here. Up in the corner, there is a map of the state of Texas. And what this is, I've been working with Texas A&M for about 5 years now on their advisory committee for the Rural Student Success Initiative. And what that is saying, Texas A&M, along with some different foundations in the state of Texas, has seen that there is a dire need in our rural communities, because, what did I just say? The kids are out there and they're not getting any help. And they have found that to be true. And on this slide, you'll see there's several counties. Deep East is the bulk of those counties. And I've been working with them for 5 years to make sure that we are getting the resources to our students. Not just to the students, but to the staff. Because if we're honest with ourselves, sometimes staff don't have all the resources that we need, right? Sometimes there's one person doing 5 roles, especially if you go into a very rural community. The superintendent is the coach. The superintendent might be the transition counselor. The superintendent might be working in the cafeteria. And that's my reality. These are schools that I actually work with. So when we go into these partnerships, we're bringing the resources to our schools. We're making sure that they have them. We're growing that partnership. And I'll tell you guys, when Texas A&M steps in, and some of the largest foundations in the state step in to say, this is a problem, this is a need. It's a problem, it is a need. And that's one thing we do as navigators, is being that connector piece, because we're bringing them in, we're the voice at the table, and the biggest voice is including our 504 kids, our special education kids. Because believe it or not, sometimes it's easy for them to get left behind, literally, especially when you think about 504, because they don't even realize that they're 504. Somewhere their parents don't even realize that they're 504. They don't realize that there's a whole wealth of resources available to them. So we are educating the students, the parents, and the organizations, and it comes through work like this. Another partnership that I've done and had over the last 2 years has been with SFA and our local health district. What we're doing here is we're looking at the entire family, right? Because you can't just focus on one person. You have to look at the whole family because they're a unit. They really are. So if I'm going to help the parent or the student, I'm helping the whole family, right? Because sometimes when we're talking to kids, their parents might need that service too. Because some disabilities, they're generational, learning disabilities. And when you kind of get that to that point and the parents realize, oh wait, this is for me too? I'm not going to exclude you. You can come get help too because it's there for you. And that increases well-being. That increases their capability to take care of themselves and their families. And not only that, it shows them that there is help out there and it's available to them. So with this initiative, that is exactly what we do. We're focusing on the whole family, making sure that the parents are getting the information, the students are getting the information, and our organizations are getting the information. And I'll tell you what, the health districts, they're a great partner. They're a great partner because I tell you right now, they see a lot of individuals that have diabetes, hypertension, they're stroke victims, and they didn't realize that this help was available to them to get back to work. And the second part of being a navigator that I'm going to go into, and Imelda will come in after me, is partnering and collaborations. I did just speak a little bit to that, but I'm going to give some more examples of how we make that happen. So we partner with our workforce partners. We're building and sustaining relationships. I just told you guys, I've been working with Texas A&M for 5 years. And it can take 5 years to actually get things up and off the ground. Because in the very beginning, you might just be planning, and it sounds crazy, but it might take 5 years for you to see the fruits of what you just started 5 years ago. And we just started seeing fruits this year with a huge transition fair. We had 5 ISDs that came in, and those kids were able to come in, do activities, meet with different vendors, and now they're getting it. And they're leaving high school with the resources. And they're like, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to be able to do this. I have work experience now. They weren't going to have that before. But that partnership made it possible. Those connections made it possible. Sustaining those relationships made it possible. And even with our schools, I was not there this year, but Miss Sonia went to the TACD conference. That is a huge conference in the state of Texas, and they were able to collaborate with VR. Hey, Marquita girl. But they were able to collaborate with VR to provide a presentation to community colleges specifically on what can VR do for you? What can the workforce do for you? Because even though we are representatives for vocational rehabilitation services, we also represent the workforce too, because there's a lot of programs that we have to help you in whatever space of your life and your career that you need that assistance with. So they were able to go there and provide some awesome information. Go Sonia. And another thing that we did too, which was a huge partnership with VR, the managers, it was over our whole unit, it was all of the navigators, and it was the COAs, the transition specialists within our unit. We did a session, and it was about a 4 or 5 part series that we did, and we included our post-secondary partners, we included our employers, we included, what was the last one, Sonia?
Partners Resource Network.
Partners Resource Network. But essentially what this was we included every school that wanted to attend, and we looked at our high demand occupations within our area. So within Southeast, Deep East, and East Texas, we looked at the top 5 high demand occupations. And what we did with that, we brought in employers that actually covered those occupations, and then from that, we brought in the post-secondary institutions within the unit that had programs to go along with those high demand occupations, and they came in and they spoke to our students and our families that were all on the call. And it was actually a really great turnout, and that was for the entire unit, and we saw some great results. And this is just some pictures of some of our partners up there and the things that we did and the people that we worked with. And I'm going to hand it over to Miss Imelda to talk a little bit about what they've done.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and thank you. I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is for our Workforce Solutions North Central Texas. And one of our mentors was not available to be here, so I'm going to cover some of her slides. So they had their ADA compliant mobile workforce unit, which was a moving extension, as a lot of us may have in some of our areas, of the North Central Texas Workforce Center. They were able to bring their mobile unit out to multiple stations to allow career seekers the ability to go in and utilize it. Now, their mobile unit is fully ADA compliant, which is a great opportunity for participants and career seekers to come in and really be able to go in there and check things out. They can do things like career exploration, improve their resumes, learn things about maybe they need assistance with filling out any type of FAFSA or unemployment, anything like that. So those are things that they are able to utilize when they do that. This unit was also deployed to their ISDs, and their transition students were able to complete their career assessments. She had Parker County, which did assist approximately 50 students in that area. So that's really great because they were able to bring it to them rather than having to go to it. They utilized it at summer camps for their transition students as well, at the request of their TRVCs. So that was really great. On the right, there is a track of it, and they're able to see what's inside that unit. So really exciting stuff for them. They've also been able to assist with center tours. They've partnered with local workforce centers to implement their workforce center tours for local ISDs. So these students are able to come in to their centers and actually go in and check it out, see what type of services they may have available to them as they transition to adulthood and into looking into where they're able to go after high school's done. Students, they were able to visit their workforce centers as field trips. They were able to familiarize themselves with available services and job resources. Now, this is actually for my board area, one of our collaborations that we have with our foster youth collaborations. Workforce Solutions Coastal Bend, we partnered up with CASA for their annual Ringing of the Bells. And that's a picture you'll see up on the right-hand side. That's actually one of our local judges that was there meeting with us. On the bottom, that's our group, and then included in that group, we had our youth manager, our WIOA manager, myself. We have our co-op team that was there available as well. In the center, myself and our WIOA manager were able to participate in the Agape Ranch Build-A-Bed, where we built 50 beds. Yeah, I used tools. Somebody trusted me with tools. But we were able to build 50 beds for foster participants across our Coastal Bend area. And then on the right, this is something we're really proud of. We did a night at the Hooks. Now, a night at the Hooks is where we collaborated with DFPS, PAL program, BCFS, Agape Ranch, and A World for Children, and the Corpus Christi Hooks, who is our minor league affiliate team. We weren't able to take any pictures of the kids for their protection. However, we did have the students come out. They were all ages that were able to attend. For most of these kids, it was the first time they've ever been to a ball game. We treated them to the entire night, and it was also a collaboration with the University of Incarnate Word, which did fund this. So it was a great experience for our foster youth to help build that collaboration with our foster youth agencies, and also their foster parents were out, and some of their caseworkers were able to attend as well. So it was a really rewarding evening. Now, our Youth Opportunities Unlimited. We do have a lot of collaborations that we're trying to focus on here in the Coastal Bend area. Some of you are actually in some of the pictures, Miss Megan. Okay, up in the top right, we have a photo there, and that was actually from our VR meet and greet. With the integration of VR coming into our centers, we realized there was a need for everyone to kind of get to know, hey, who's that person passing me in the hall? And so at that point, we collaborated, Megan Bennett and I, and we were able to have a day set up where all VR and all departments came in. They set up areas inside of one of our conference rooms, and workforce staff was able to go in and meet them, introduce themselves, and find out what exactly it is that this person does and how we can work together. VR staff then had the opportunity to come in, and we switched the roles and the tables, and workforce staff set up those booths. And VR staff was able to come in and ask their questions. So it was a really great opportunity, hopefully to help us with some co-enrollments and move forward with that. Below that, there's a picture of us with superintendents. We've started a program here in the Coastal Bend area called the South Texas Career Connection. And what that is we focus on our rural area schools. So we partner with them. We go out to their areas and we're able to, discuss our services for all our areas, anything youth related, which is fantastic. Through that program, I can say the last couple of weeks, I've spent at Fremont High School with one of my VR counselors. We sat in on one-on-ones with all our parents for special ed as they are transitioning out as seniors. It was so positive that they decided to have us come back and meet with all their juniors and seniors in that area to discuss all the services that are available to all those students, not just VR services, but also workforce services. So we tackled that dually together, and we were able to walk away with quite a few referrals, which is great. Right underneath that photo on the bottom right hand is our You Choose. Now we're really, really proud of this. Our WIOA manager is up in front. Last year in September, and we're going to have one again this September, we have what we call our You Choose. Now, You Choose stands for Youth Opportunities Unlimited. We target all students within our 11 counties. Last year, we had over 2,500 students come in to participate in that, and they met with over 80 employers and training providers in our area. It was phenomenal. Kids walked away from there and had a blast. So it was a very busy, a very hectic day, but it was very well worth it. So this year we're targeting a higher number, so we're very excited for that also. In the middle, those are all our superintendents from Clayburgh County. In the top middle photo, we do have another thing that we have, which is our educator externship, where we partner with teachers throughout the area. We bring them in and we help them go out and they learn about careers that are available, the most in-demand careers for our students. That way they can take that knowledge and experience. They go out, they do on-the-job training, and they take that back to their kids, and they're able to talk about things that might interest those kids as they get ready to transition out of high school. And on the right is the dean and two of the deans actually and our executive director and our leadership team. And those folks are all from the University of Incarnate Word, which we collaborated with, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. Okay, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it on over. Ms. Sonia?
Thank you. And the third area of responsibilities that we have as navigators is to inform and engage employers. The focus of that is to increase the employer's understanding of the abilities of students with disabilities, develop training and resources to educate on disability etiquette and accommodations for our students. Develop work-based learning opportunities. And I hate to say this, but we just don't have enough of those opportunities. We need to build more, like lots more. Conduct outreach and develop relationships with our business community, with our consortiums, and with our industry organizations. Next. Gotcha. Thank you. And then also to develop partnerships, to strengthen those partnerships with VR, with our boards, with our contractor staff, and to develop employment-related events, such as our National Employment Disability Awareness Programs in the fall, employer conferences, meet with our economic development boards, and so forth. One of the best examples that I have is our Rule Set Go. This was a collaboration of many, many partners in our East Texas communities. Couple of things there. East Texas Workforce Board was the recipient of the Texas Workforce Commission's Future Excellence in Innovation Award, and also the National Association of Regional Councils Achievement Award, based on this information here. And I'm going to expand on that in just a minute. I do want to make a side note here that if you YouTube us, Rule Set Go, you can get the information about each one of those 14 counties and the meetings and some of the information that came out on that. So Rule Set Go is an intentional strategy to engage our business leaders, our colleges, our ISDs, and the community in candid conversations about factors that influence their local workforce and economic development needs, particularly those demand skills as identified by our employers, not identified by us as a guessing it, but by the employers themselves. What you see here is 3 years worth of work. In our first year, the gentleman there, that very Deb gentleman as I call him, he's one of our directors at our workforce board. The Rule Set Go, or RSG forums, was launched prior to COVID-19. And this included our employers, our EDC representatives, and our chambers. The forums transitioned to virtual formats and focused on helping businesses address those workforce needs during the pandemic. In 2021, as you can see, that next picture, it's got a nice hall full of people. I like to say it's full to capacity, folks learning about some of the programs that are available to them. In 2021, the program was relaunched with distance and capacity restrictions. We got pretty innovative there. Through partnering with local elected officials and development agencies, there were 12 forums hosted with over 300 attendees. Moving on into 2022, as you can see, we have another hall that we managed to fill to capacity. RSG expanded its audience to include school districts. Forums discussed ways to boost and educate the workforce in East Texas and keep the labor in our communities. We were able to host 11 events, and with those 11 events, we had 500 attendees. So the goals of RSG was to provide local labor market information at the county level, discuss how labor market information affects their communities, educate about programs and services through Workforce Solutions East Texas and other workforce partners, facilitate networking for businesses and educators, and opening and creating dialogue between the schools, our community colleges, our employers, and our workforce. And there you see a map of our very rural Piney Woods communities, our 14 counties. Side note here, we all know that Texas is the second largest state behind Alaska, but our Piney Woods, our 14 counties, encompasses 10,019 square miles. We're actually larger than the 9 smallest states in the United States. Our population is just shy of 900,000 people. That's actually more than the population in Alaska of 730,000 people. So we're pretty proud of our little tiny communities in the Piney Woods. And because we are so rural, we do have to get pretty creative on how we reach that population. We have our physical location, our 5 brick and mortar buildings. We have our mobile units that require a lot of maintenance because they travel a lot of mileage. And then we also have our access points, partnerships that we have created with businesses and the community colleges that are spread throughout our 14 counties. And our access points are growing. We want to get as many access points open so that we could reach as many of our population as we can. The Rule Set Go would not have been successful had it not been for the data. Now, the data can easily be found, sure, but it has to be gathered and put together in some type of really understandable package, so to speak. And had it not been for Dr. Reyes-Loya and the business school of University of Texas in Tyler, I don't think we could have done this. The data was based on each individual county, and for example, what you're seeing here on this screen are demographics for Upshur County. And so when we gathered these RSG forums, and we were speaking to the group in the meeting, we were actually talking to them about their data, the data in their communities. We also spoke to them about training programs. You know the old adage, you don't know if you don't know? Did I say that correctly? So one of the things that we pointed out, what is exactly eligible training providers? Those eligible training providers are entities with job training programs that are approved by TWC to provide workforce innovative and opportunity funded training training services, I'm sorry. We also pointed out the high schools, like in Upshur County, there were 7 high schools. We identified what their CTE programs were in those 7 high schools. And then we also pointed out that on the eligible training provider list, there were 0 occupation pathways. That was an eye-opener. We continue to educate the employers on all of the funding that is available, including our Summer Earn and Learn program. With the RSG, the Rule Set Go, we made sure that we included VR from the very onset. Our business relation coordinator was there to represent VR. Mr. Kutak is in the room somewhere. I've seen him at several of those forums. We made sure that we included our counselors. If we were going to be in our counselors' territory, so to speak, in that county, we wanted to make sure that that counselor knew that there was a forum happening in that county. We wanted to make sure that they knew that there were educators that were going to be in that room, educators not just from the school districts, but also to the community colleges. And I am astounded at how many community colleges we do have in the East Texas Piney Woods area. Let's see, I want to make sure I cover everything. Okay, so where do we go from here? This year, in 2023, we focused on those career exploration fairs. Yes, they're exactly like job fairs. They were open to the community at large, but the target was specifically to our high school students. We brought employers in, we brought the colleges in. We wanted them to showcase what they were all about, especially our employers, the ones that have those demand occupations, the ones that are always in need and they're always looking. We want to keep these employers in our community. We don't want them leaving, but we also need to keep our talent base in our community, and we need to start them off young. So we want them to know, you know what, there are careers out there. Oh, you're a gamer, you love software programs? Did you know that there are career pathways for gamers? You did not know? Let's explore that together. So we are halfway through our career exploration job fairs that we began at the beginning of the program year. We still have a few more counties to go. It has been a great success. We have had an increase in employers wanting to come on board for some of these funded programs. We have had an increase in students that are interested in pursuing one of these programs to see if they're eligible. I can't wait to see what 2024 is going to bring for our Rule Set Go program. And then the last, I have a QR box on there. That Padlet will take you to a link that will give you information on a lot of the programs that we spoke of. Our East Texas Targeted Occupation Guide, we wanted to make sure that that digital version was front and center. Two other things that I wanted to point out on here are some of the youth programs that were developed in partnership with our colleges, with VR, and our board and contractor. That first one, Youth Employment Matters, that was a really nice CTE fair that took place at Region 7 Educational Service Center. And then the CTE Opportunity Now Fair that Tyler ISD held on their technology campus. That was another great collaboration of the contractor, board, VR team, along with the school districts. During COVID, all of us, we had to get creative on providing services virtually. One of the things that came out of that was our Dream Expo. Our Dream Expo, y'all, there are 2 great videos that are on there, and these videos are for any student or educator that wants to access them. They are videos that were shot in the field with employers in the various occupational fields, talking about the day in the life of that particular worker and what they do. It's a fantastic video. Well, both of them are. The Career Boost Pharmacy Tech was one of them. We had Career Boost CDL truck driving, just to name a few. These were some of the things that came out of COVID. Career Boost is coming back again. We should have that up and running in the month of September. Fingers crossed. But I do invite you all to check out our Padlet and link into some of the bits and pieces that we have there for you. And with that, I am going to bring this back to Miss Imelda.
Oops.
Fix it.
I will. Okay. All right. Now this is back to North Central. United Way We Work is an initiative that they put together back in October 20th of 2022. They had a job shadow day for students with disabilities. Their collaboration team consisted of local employers, ISDs, local college, TWSVR counselors, and also they had corporate sponsorship by AmeriGroup, which is fantastic. They had 8 local employers and 1 college, which hosted 53 students for job shadow days. And they were able to go out and experience college programs as well. It was an all-day event which consisted of breakfast, 2-hour job shadow experience, lunch with their keynote speaker, and job readiness presentation, and then an awards ceremony. Now, this event qualified to meet all of our 5 PREETs, yay, career exploration, job readiness, counseling on post-secondary education, and work-based learning and self-advocacy. Back, one more. Okay, and here's some photos of that day. As you can see, there's the bus, which is bringing those kids on in. You can see where they're out there. They're getting their certificates, going, looks like booth to booth out there, enjoying and kind of learning about it all. That's Deborah. She is not available here today. However, she's the blonde in the photo. So yay, Debbie. Okay, so it was really a great opportunity for these kids to go out there and really learn about those new careers and things that are available to them as they transition. Now, this is in Coastal Bend, our Summer Earn and Learn Signing Day. I'm very, very proud of this initiative that we were able to roll out last year. Summer Earn and Learn, as we all know, it's what we call creating pathways to employment for students with disabilities. For our area last year, what we did was we had our first ever signing day. Now, we were approached by the folks over at the University of Incarnate-Word, and they were very excited. They had heard about what we have to offer for our kids during a presentation I did at one of our local chambers at their morning meeting. And so they said, hey, how can we help? What can we do to get involved with these kids? And we actually approached very quickly because I said, hey, we've got this funds and we've got 1 month to use it, and we want to help you. Therefore, we decided, hey, what are our biggest groups that we want to help? And one was our kids with disabilities, and the other one would be our foster youth. So they were able to sponsor that night at the Hooks that we showed a little while ago, but then they also helped sponsor this. So as Summer Earn and Learn was getting ready to kick off, we put our brains together and said, hey, let's do something to get these kids buy-in, because one thing we realized was through previous years, you've got kids that sign up for Summer Earn and Learn, but they don't finish the program. So they drop out halfway between whatever happens. So we thought, hey, let's do this and let's get these kids buy-in for the program. So we set it up. We partnered up with our Education Service Center. We were able to get swag bags for these kids. They got backpacks, they got notebooks, pens, things like that. We had lunch catered for them. They came in, we partnered up with our Vocational Rehabilitation Service regional team. They came in and Vanessa Vetta came in and did a presentation for employers, as well as for the students and their families, of just to give a little breakout of the program and what it was. We invited all staff that work on our SEAL program, from their counselors to the person that's going to do their intake and eligibility to the person that's going to pick up their time cards from them. So they all came out, and it was really, really a wonderful day. We also had our city councilman Ben Molina came out. He started it off and gave the kids some encouraging words about, hey, you know, we're so proud of you as you get ready for this initiative on your first day of employment, because as we know, most of these kids, this is the first time they're ever going to have a job. It's their first opportunity to earn a paycheck. As in the pictures there, you can see their parents were lit up, because at the end of all their fun and everything we had going on, we gave these kids a certificate. Now that certificate was a letter of commitment for them to sign up for the program. So our Chief Operating Officer, Amy Varial, went up there and she gave them a nice little speech and a little, you know, pump you up, and how proud we were of them as they were getting ready to take on this initiative, because this is life-changing for them. This is something they're always going to remember. So these kids signed that letter of commitment, and as you can see in some of the pictures, their parents' smiles and just the pride with them. We had so many tears at the end of this signing, because the parents were just so proud of their kids as they're getting ready to take that step into basically adulthood. So we were really, really excited with that. This year we are doing it again. We got so much positive feedback from last year that we got approached for another sponsorship for it, an even bigger one, for the Port of Corpus Christi, which is going to be sponsoring, as well as University of Incarnate Word. So this year we're doing it bigger and better for these kids, because we saw such a great turnout from last year. We do have, I have a video, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys watch that real quick. Play. Please hold. We'll play. Thank you.
Another job well done by Summer Earn and Learn participants as we wrap up the program for 2022. Thanks to the efforts from workforce staff, the TWS Vocational Rehabilitation Services, the University of the Incarnate Word, and participating employers, this has been such a successful year. 71 students got to work with local employers for the very first time, and 73 employers hosted and guided these students along their journey. We got to speak with James Wise, who loved his summer job at Fun Trackers. Here's what he and his manager, Jennifer Parkins, had to say.
I really enjoyed working with James. I think it's awesome. I find that he loves coming to work. He's learned, he's expanded a little bit. He's let himself kind of get comfortable here, and I feel like this is a good opportunity for him also, because I feel like it's giving him a good work experience that he'll want to do it again.
What's your favorite thing about working here?
Cleaning doors, cleaning the game room, and like a bowling.
Oh, that's fun.
And they love bowling.
Workforce Solutions Coastal Bend and Vocational Rehabilitation Services worked closely with students to get them ready for their summer work experience, but also spent time with employers to share important information about working with students with disabilities. Vanessa Vera, Business Relations Coordinator for TWS Vocational Rehabilitation Services, hosted an employer training for summer Earn and Learn employers, ensuring they were well prepared for the experience.
And so there are a lot of benefits of hiring an individual with disabilities. You will find that they're very dependable, they're very loyal and faithful. So one of the things that you can do to help the partnership is always be confident to ask questions, never be fearful of that. So ask us any questions that you may have, let us know if there's any barriers that are currently happening or any struggles, or if you're needing some additional support. So just having that open line of communication would be a huge opportunity for us to make the experience successful for all involved.
Special thanks to the University of the Incarnate Word who funded the Summer Earn and Learn Signing Day, kicking off the program with an inspiring message about the tremendous potential that they demonstrate by committing to their summer work experience. Thank you to all participating employers for working towards creating awareness around disability employment and supporting an inclusive workforce. To learn about how WFSCB and VRS partnered together to remove barriers to employment for people with disabilities, please visit our website. If you or someone you know is interested in participating in next year's Summer Earn and Learn program, call a workforce professional today.
Okay. Yay. Okay, so yeah, we're looking forward to September. Oh my goodness, I'm thinking I'm way ahead. Program will be over by then. But no, May 13th, we're going to be having this year's signing day. Through the funding that we were allotted, we were able to purchase these kids. They're all going to get backpacks, lunch boxes, lanyards, water bottles, notebooks, pens. Basically anything we could think that they would need to take with them when they go out to work for that program. So we're really looking forward to it. It's a great opportunity for these kids. I do want to say after last year's signing day, and I really feel like that may have had a lot to do with it, that was the first time a Coastal Bend ever exceeded their numbers, achieved and exceeded their assigned goal. So we're really excited for that. So we're excited for bigger things this year, right, Joey? With that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Aubrey.
All right, so after that video, I think that it's always kind of one of those things that make you think and smile and enjoy what you do. And that's why we're asking the question, what is your why? You've heard you've heard us talk about the things that we do in the community and how it helps the community, from partnering to working with each other to just getting the word out there and sharing the resources, because we really are connectors. And I know for me, one of my biggest whys, some of you in the room may know, some may not know, but I had a son with disabilities. I say he put his wings back on in 2020, but he was one of my biggest reasons, a legacy for him. I was an advocate before he was ever born, but the 15 years that I had him, and I actually lived in the world of disabilities, 504, and what it looks like and how it is interconnected, that is a why for me. I tell people all the time, this isn't a career for me. This is life. So it doesn't matter if I'm in this role or another role, I will always advocate for people, for their inclusion, to make sure that their voice is heard. I love to be a voice for the voiceless. My son didn't have a voice, so I started using mine. I learned pretty quickly, he can't talk, but I'm gonna talk for him. So that is why we do this, and I implored my colleagues too to think about their whys, and I also want you guys to think about your why too, because I don't get up every day and say, I'm gonna go earn this check today. No, I actually get up and say, I think I might be able to help that person from last week. I can make sure that they get that service. I can follow up with that family. I can go back to that school. They need me. And that is the why. It truly is, because I cannot tell you guys enough that my soul knows that when you help an individual, you help a family, and when you help a family, you help a community. And I want to see our communities build. I want to see them grow. I want to see that happen on every level, where everyone knows that they do have the opportunity, they do have the resources, and they do have the support. And that is what we do, we support. And I do want to put y'all on the spot, since we have some great moderators out here, to ask some of you if you're willing to share what is your why after saying this and knowing this is our why and this is what we do. We look at these, I call them key points that I just said, the inclusion, the awareness, the resources. Would any of you like to share what is your why? Why do you get up every day and you come to work and you do the work that you do in our communities within the workforce? Don't all stand up at one time now. I'll start picking on y'all. I know names.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Martha Bagnishi, and I am out of Del Rio, Texas. So I'm working with the workforce out of Uvalde, Texas, with the board. And I just want to say that thank you for everything you do. And me personally, it's basically the same thing. I have 3 children, and I get up every morning, and I am so lucky to be working with these 2 young ladies here, Katrina and Anna. And the same thing, the children, our youth, they need a lot of people like us to go ahead and just show them, hey, you can do this. Sometimes they don't have that in their families, or they don't believe in themselves. So it's up to us to let them know, hey, you can do this, and you are worth it, and you are special. Everybody has their own special gift, and that's one of the things that I love to tell my students. So,
see?
Yes, they can do it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Janice Onyejako, and I'm a student HireAbility Navigator, and I'm with the Alamo Board. Why I do it, I have a servant's heart. I enjoy serving as a connector, helping young adults on their way to independence. We look at it in the Alamo area. You may not be able to work a full 40-hour career job, but everyone can do something. Whether you're volunteering, whether you're working 4 to 5 hours, or you're working 20 hours, but you can do something, you can be productive, you have a voice, and you're here for a purpose.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Karen Tisdale, and I haven't been working with the organization very long. I come out of the world of education, and I can't tell you how many countless arts that I sat in and saw students that had so much potential but didn't understand that there were actually resources out there that they could use in order to better themselves. And I guess that's where I come in at. You know, when I see these students, I know that they have the potential to move further in this transitional area in their life. It's nice to know that I have some input in how they move forward in their lives. So I come out of education, so I know where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm. I guess I won't pick on y'all anymore. But are there any questions for us? Anything that you guys saw today on the slides that you have questions about? Now remember, one of our navigators and mentors, she wasn't here, Miss Deborah Dobis. She was out today, but her contact information will be provided later as well. But are there any questions about anything that you guys heard that we can answer?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Lavanya Tryon Editorial. I was about to say my old position, but I'm not my old position. I am a program policy for VR services. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say thank you for this, and thank you for this opportunity to just see what you're doing in the community. And just a reminder that with us working with people with disabilities, they've heard no's all their life. Mm-hmm. And if we have the opportunity to give a yes, and to start with a yes in mind, mm-hmm. and realizing that when we place a customer that has a disability into a job, many times it's that may be that first mm-hmm. person that they hired with a known disability. Yeah. So it's our responsibility to make sure that we assist our customers in putting their best foot forward, and they shouldn't have to speak for everyone in the disability, mm-hmm. the community that has disabilities, but they're representing that and then allowing them to know that they have power, and then they're opening the door for so many other opportunities for these agencies and these companies to hire and to, I guess, like bust out of that fear of the unknown. So I just want to thank y'all for what you're doing.
Thank you for what you do.
We have Dana on that side too, so don't be shy on that side if anyone has any questions. Stick your hand in the air.
Going once. Well, if you guys do not have any questions, and even if you do, this is our contact information. If something comes up later, please feel free to reach out to us. At the bottom, you'll see Kevin Markle. He is with Texas Workforce Commission, but he is also over the Navigator. So if there's a question that's related more so to the VR side that you want to know a little bit more about, please reach out to him. He'd be more than happy to answer, and reach out to any of us. We'd be more than happy to answer any additional questions if they pop up later. But if that is it for you guys, no questions, then that is it for us. Unless you guys have something else.